videos or the newest TikTok craze, but how magical does that look? Dolphins streaking through the waves, glowing with the bioluminescence. This is off the coast of Newport Beach, California this week. An amazing sight, which happens under very specific conditions. We want to talk more about this in America's Science Lab. I want to break down what actually causes this scene. And many of you are in the digital learning space, so let's take advantage of this time and expand our knowledge of this bright blue phenomenon with Dr. Tracy Fanara, Inspector Planet and part of the Moat Aquarium in Sarasota, Florida. She's joining us from Gainesville this morning. Dr. Fanara, thank you for being with us. So a lot of people are saying, how in the world does this even happen? Start us off with that.
It's crazy, right? It's so beautiful to see. And what's happening is it's actually a bioluminescent algae. It's a dinoflagellate, which means that it's a single-celled organism with a tail that can actually swim in the water, up and down the water column, and they have a chemical reaction within them. This species in particular is called Lingolidinium polyhedra. Let's just call it L-poly. And it has something called luciferin, which is a chemical that allows it to glow when waves crash, any kind of mechanical stimulation.
So why don't we see this all the time? What do the conditions have to be like in order for us to actually see it?
So blooms of this particular species happen every few years. There was one in 2013 and 2018 and now. And conditions have to be right. There has to be an upwelling of nutrients and other temperature, salinity, chemical and physical oceanography characteristics for these blooms to occur, just like blooms all over the world. And just like if you see this in the day, it's actually, at night it looks blue. During the day, it looks red.
Oh.
So people call it red tide. And there are red tides all over the world, like the one that I spoke to you a lot about in 2018 in the Gulf of Mexico, but it's a completely different species.
Yeah, and a different reaction. You don't get that. Now, we saw someone surfing. This video we had yesterday had our jaws on the ground. Is it safe to be in the water when you have this bloom? Because some of those red tides, it's not safe to be in the water.
You're right. Just like the one in Gulf of Mexico, that toxin can be very harmful. And actually, Lingolidinium polyhedra can release a toxin in certain strands. So in the Mediterranean, we see this toxin called yesatoxin, which can cause neurotoxic shellfish poisoning, so you can't ingest it. But in California, these strands haven't been found to be toxic up to this point. Now, there has been some people reporting respiratory irritation, and that can happen with all the extra particulate matter that an algae bloom creates. But as far as toxicity, you should be okay.
Yeah. All right. We have 10 seconds here. Is there any way we can find out a forecast of when this is going to happen and where, so we could maybe plan a trip to see it?
That is a great question. This can last a week up to a month, but I would check with Scripps. They're really the ones doing all of the testing out there for this algae. So check with their website and enjoy the beauty.
Exactly. All right. Thanks to Dr. Tracy Fanara, Inspector Planet, for joining us this morning. So